Knox Henderson, Investor Relations for Great Bear Resources. And this is the third edition of Q&A with Chris Taylor. And with me today on this Sunday, April 5th, is Chris Taylor, President and CEO of Great Bear. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good, Knox. Happy Sunday.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll have to do a little power washing after we do this, but let's get this done because we've got a lot of questions since the Ontario Premier Doug Ford he's kind of tightened the restrictions in Ontario, specifically around construction and infrastructure. A lot of outdoor workers are affected. We've been getting a lot of questions. Does this affect our operations in Red Lake? So first off, is everyone still working, or are we still working?
Yeah, and we are, Knox, and that's the important thing here. It was a rather busy Friday and Saturday for me this week because the Ontario government issued that new set of regulations, and it was a shorter list. Like, it's physically a shorter list than what they had before. And I think, the government wants to show that they're protecting people's health. We totally get that, right? But because they wanted to publish a shorter, more succinct list of essential businesses, it didn't include the definitions of, in our case, mining, what constitutes mining. And we got in touch with people directly from the Ministry of Mines by yesterday morning, Saturday morning, and we got written confirmation that exploration, gold exploration in our case, is part of the mining business, part of the mining cycle. So mining constitutes everything from exploration to reclamation in a mine cycle. So
which also includes all of the peripheral activities like core shacks and assay labs. Are we doing anything differently or more stringently in our operations, particularly around the core shack, etc.?
Yeah, we definitely are. This is one of the things, I'm happy to talk about how we're still working, but, all of us are in lockdown in our day-to-day lives. We basically have very stringent conditions on site. So one of the things that works in our favor is that we have 3 different core shacks on site. And that means that the staff members that we have on site don't physically interact. So they're in smaller groups, like groups of 2, instead of groups of larger numbers of people. And, initially when we had to do a 3 core shack situation, it was a bit of a bug in the program, because it is a little bit more convenient to move core around from place to place and have separate storage facilities and whatnot. Right now, it's definitely a feature of the program is that we're able to keep people separated while they're working.
Yeah, so they're working on their own set of course and on multiple hands, handling multiple things and keeping everybody and everything isolated. I imagine that's very important.
It is, yeah. The drillers as well, they don't go into the core shack anymore, so they'll do a delivery outside, drop the core off. They work outside, of course, all day in isolation by default. They're drillers, so they're not in contact with anybody. And then they'll drop the core off at the core shack, so it'll get taken inside. There's no physical person-to-person interaction at that point either.
And meanwhile, in Red Lake, there are no confirmed cases of coronavirus.
Yeah, this is one of the remarkable things is that because Red Lake is an isolated community, there hasn't been anybody that's gotten sick there as far as we know, and we'd like to keep it that way. So, with the staff that we have on site, some of them have been absolutely adamant that what they want to do is keep working and stay employed, but they want to stay in Red Lake, so they don't want to go anywhere else in the community. Like the medical people in the community are advising people, don't even go down to like Thunder Bay or Winnipeg to do your shopping. Basically keep all your shopping and other activities in Red Lake and keep everybody.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's great to see people gainfully employed anywhere these days.
It staggers me to think about the amount of subsidy checks that governments around the world are going to have to deploy, but there's lags in getting paid as well. And the people that we have on staff, because they know they're safe in Red Lake, that's where they want to stay. And of course they want to stay working. So we'll accommodate them as long as we're able to. As long as the government doesn't shut us down or there isn't an outbreak in Red Lake, we can safely keep people employed and keep them out of the employment insurance lines. And that's our objective.
So at any given time, I guess we have between 3 to 5 rigs going, and there's probably, things have to go slower, obviously, in the assay labs and all that. So we're asking shareholders to be patient, but nevertheless, we're expecting to have some drill results in the fairly near future, just to keep everyone interested.
I'm talking to Bob. So as you mentioned before, the assay labs are still working, and it's a necessary part of the mining cycle. If you don't have a lab on site, if you're working at an active mine, or even if you are, you're going to need to take a certain portion of your samples and send them off site for independent verification. So you can't really mine the assay labs working. So those are still operating, but like everybody else, they've seen reduced activity, and they're seeing longer turnaround time. So, previously we'd probably be able to get results back on, a week. It would take a week to get numbers back from the lab. Right now, it'll take 2 weeks to 5 weeks to get numbers back. The advantage for us, though, is that we've been drilling for like a month and a half since our last news results. So I know that we're getting a steady stream of results back. And I was talking to Bob just a couple of days ago, Bob Singh, our VP Exploration, and he said it looks like we're getting enough results. We mentioned we needed a certain number of holes per drill section across this big LP fault target. I think we're at the point where you'll see numbers in the very near future.
Okay, well, that's good to hear, Chris. I'm going to wrap this up. I think we've certainly got a couple more of these coming when we get these results out. Obviously, there's still a few more questions coming around on our NSR royalty spinout, which we'll address in a separate Q&A. But thanks for everything, and have a good day. Get outside, do something, walk the dog, both dogs, whatever it is you do.
Yeah, that's right. Dog walking is next on my agenda, and then
okay.
Bob.
All right, if you have any questions, email ir@greatbearresources.ca, or you can call me directly at 604-551-2360. Thanks, and have a good day and stay safe.